Hey folks, this is a quick tutorial on how to add fuel expenses to your trip or any other expenses that are related to your trip. So just want to go through a few steps. Well, obviously you're going to start with adding a trip, or you can work with an existing trip. So in this particular case, I'm going to just add maybe a trip over here. Trip number 9457 truck, and I'm going to choose one of the drivers here, and I'm going to bill to a company here called Open Trade. That's who's paying for this load, and they're paying us $4,700 on this particular trip. This is a trip from Georgia 30019. That's the zip code, and all I did was just type in the zip code for quick entry, and this load is actually picked up on Thursday. So I'm just entering it now, and this trip is going to California. It's going to actually, is it going to California? So this is going to, it's going to Laredo, Texas. Laredo, Texas is Laredo. There we go. 78040. I think the zip code was 78040, and this is supposed to drop on Tuesday. Okay, 78040 is the zip code, so just save that. So all I did was just add a trip, put in the origin and the destination. Sorry, that was the origin and the destination, and save it. Now I'm going to go on to the trip. So this has already been picked up by Selena, and we want to now figure out how to add fuel expenses to it. So when I clicked on the on the trip detail, then I can scroll down just a tad bit, and notice where it says here add fuel expense. Add fuel expense. So just click on that big blue button right there, and it's going to ask me when the fuel happened. It looks like this actually happened on Friday, and this was at the Loves. This was at the Loves in Atlanta. So ATL, Atlanta, Georgia. This was about 100 gallons, and the total amount spent was $482. Expensive gas, expensive fuel, and push continue. So notice that you can add fuel expenses for that trip, and this is the right place to add the trip expenses to each trip. If you wanted to add maintenance expenses, for instance, if you bought a tire, for this truck, that expense applies to the whole company, not necessarily the trip itself, because the tire or the maintenance event is going to occur for many trips. So for that, you want to go put that into the maintenance expenses. So you can go over here to the navigator, add maintenance expense, and then you can add that. That was at the Loves, I believe, and you can say that was also maintenance repair for tires. Maybe you just had the tire repair. That was on the Friday. Zip code on that was in Atlanta, Georgia, so I'm going to put that zip code, and you probably spent $350 or something like that. Tires were expensive, $650. I'm gonna push 2 tires. Maybe you bought 2 steer tires for $1,300. If you have a receipt, then, and you more than likely do, so you want to put in your receipt. Scan your receipt as a PDF document, and then add that. Click on save. Odometer 1, if odometer reading unknown. So I don't have the odometer reading right now, so I'm just going to put 1 and click on save. Now you have a maintenance expense that is recorded. When you come back and you have the receipt, you can go back and add the receipt. You don't have to have it right there and then. So that is a way to maintain your fuel expenses and other expenses. If I go back now down to my dashboard, notice that this being the first trip of the year that I'm showing on this example company, I can see that my revenue is the 4,700, my trip expenses are accounted for, my maintenance expenses are accounted for, and it is keeping track of my P&L, right? My profit and loss. That is a quick way to keep track of all your expenses. Remember that trip expenses apply to the trip only, something like fuel, diesel, DEF, lumper charges, loading and unloading. That's what those are. Scale tickets, those kind of things. All those go into your trip expenses. Anything that is going on a company-wide scale, like maintenance, would go into your maintenance expenses. If you have office expenses, for instance, you are paying rent on your office building or you're paying insurance, then those would go under operating expenses. So you'd push that and you'd select the category. There are so many categories over here that are authorized by the IRS. All of these have to do with tracking. So you'd pick the correct category, the date. Obviously, if you have a receipt, you should always add the receipt for yourself, and then you click on Save Expense. That, my friends, is how you do it.